down the Bentley Straight then for the first time. It's Mike Robinson that leads the way then as they head down towards Brundle. Sean Heighton there side by side with Gary Sims. Heighton on the inside, but Sims can stay around the outside. He'll have the inside line for Nelson, and yes, look, he's got his nose in there, and then Heighton has to give way as the cars now head down towards the bottom hole, trying to get in there as well. Ryan Radcliffe, but Heighton managed to defend the line as they headed into the bottom hole. Trapped dry in there, and the car is going sideways through the corner. Some of the front runners there. And what about the G20 part of the race? We'll just wait for the leads to come through it. Stuart Lynn returns to the championship. He leads from Matt Flowers and Brian Murphy. That's the top three. Mark Warnier sitting there in the fourth position.
Left and right.
Down the Bentley Straight again. Robinson really breaking away, and Heighton and Sims scrapping in and out for second position. Gary Sims has got it in at the moment. In these drying conditions here, it's not done. Everybody on wet tyres as the cars break down into Nelson. We've had two very heavy rainstorms today. Meaning at parts of the track there still is standing water as the cars turn through the bottom once again. One dry spot is on the circuit. Ryan Radcliffe trying to go after the big sideways moment from him as well. Good battle for fifth position. It was between Graham Johnson and Rick Parfitt. Everyone just about trying to stay on the road, drifting a bit wide. There's Stuart Lynn still leading the way in G20. Brian Murphy's going to head of Matt Flowers in the battle for second in that class as they head down towards Coram. Mark Waddy has disappeared from the contention of G20 in the fourth, and now is Johnny Greenwood.
So Mike Robinson then leading, and looking to see who Mike
through Brundle goes the leader then. Mike Robinson, Gary Sims, Sean Heighton for second. Just about breaking away now. In second is Sims. Then Rick Parfitt, he's got a Graham Johnson for fifth, and Penn Contra 7-7. Bailey and eighth, and up on the inside of the Scuderia Vittoria car of Diego Guerri goes Lee Mull working his way up the pack. He's racing also the British GTs this weekend in the Ginetta G50, and Mull makes his way up the ninth then as they head through Mull now down towards Coram. The field splitting up, not quite a frantic Ginetta challenge race, what we come to expect in the series, but still good racing. Stuart Lynn has an out of G40 between him and Brian Murphy. And Matt Flowers is dropping back. I wonder a problem for him because Matt Flowers is normally a front runner. There's Luke Davenport. He had a moment on the first lap, lost him lots of time, but he's working his way back up the pack. Johnny Greenwood still sits there in fourth in G20. Mark Warnier, he's worked his way up to fifth ahead of Ian Ingram. Meanwhile, into Brundle comes the leader, then Robinson. Sims still got that gap to Sean Heighton as we reach about the halfway stage of this 15-minute race. Ryan Radcliffe, then fourth. Rick Parfitt getting away from Graham Johnson. Now Ben Contra is going to get under pressure from Lee Mull, who's trying to come round the outside as they head into Brundle. He can't get it done though, so Lee Mull stays behind. And now he comes up on the inside, though he does get it done. He gets ahead of the commentator Ben Contra. Meanwhile behind Diego Guerri running out wide, and Contra now also being part of Brad Bailey. And there's Diego Guerri just behind. As the cars head now down towards Coram to complete the lap. The 2.99 mile lap here around the Snetterton 300 circuit. Stuart Lynn getting closed in by Brian Murphy. A great drive this is for Brian Murphy, probably the best race he's had of the year. Catching up multiple race winner and champion Stuart Lynn from a few years ago now when it was just for Ginetta G20 cars. Now Johnny Greenwood's under pressure from Mark Warnier as they head down towards Coram. Leader Mike Robinson, ex-Clio race winner as well, is just driving away from the pack. And Gary Sims starting to come under pressure once again from Sean Heighton as they turn through Brundle. They're getting away from Ryan Radcliffe, who looks like to have been closed in by Rick Parfitt Jr. And Lee Mull has got himself ahead of Graham Johnson now. He's made his way into the top six. Ben Contra under lots of pressure on Brad Bailey. He was side by side under Bailey. Brad Bailey loses a position to, I think that is David Barker, who's going well. As they exit Nelson, head down towards the ball hole. Contra just managed to break away with the side-by-side action behind him. So the four-way scrap, head down towards Coram with Diogo Guerreri just behind. Stuart Lynn about to be passed. It looked like by Luke Davenport, but Lynn stays in front as he heads into Bromwell, battling with a trio of G40 cars there. Brian Murphy perhaps just dropping off that time. 2 laps to go for the race leader Mike Robinson. He turns into Brundle. And here comes Gary Sims. He's been passed by Sean Heighton, but he's coming back at him into Brundle. The 2 cars almost side by side. Heighton just about keeping in front now, trying to get the cut back. Is Gary Sims. He can't do that as the cars now head down towards Bromwell, but he's coming back at him now, but Heighton kept the line as the cars drift through the Bromwell with the drying line. It's almost bone dry now. Ryan Radcliffe there for Rick Parvick Jr. absolutely on the limit, almost losing the car. So does Lee Mull, runs out wide. The 2 of them going very well, closing in on Ryan Radcliffe, but both of them almost losing it there. Ben Cotter Julius, I think, is lost down now to David Barker, who's moving up through the pack. Look like Barker now up into 8th. And a moment there and a spin for JJ O'Malley, the ex-Caterham Razor, loses the car. Here, get back going. They won't lose any places. And still, Luke Davenport trying to find his way past Stuart Lynn, who's doing a very good defensive job, staying in front. And actually now getting a move on is Stuart Lynn, setting the fast lap of the race in the G20. He's a true 29.4. Fastest lap in the G40 to set lap 3 by Mike Robinson, a 2:22.7, nearly a second quicker than anybody else has managed in this race. Not one yet, now ahead of Johnny Greenwood and breaking away from him. Let's have another look at JJ O'Malley's losing way too wide through the corner, kicked up the dirt, and then the car rotated. So down toward Brundle for the final time. Mike Robinson is going to win this Ginetta Challenge race, but battle for second still on. Heighton is in front. Gary Sims is right behind in the slipstream. He can't do anything as they come on the braking for the final time into the S's, where Gary Sims find a way through. Heighton perhaps drifting a bit wider than Sims does. Sims looks on the inside of the bottom hole, but can't quite get enough of the car alongside, so he has to settle behind Sean Heighton. They head down towards Coram and Murray for the final time. Brian Radcliffe drifts his car through 4th, and Lee Mull on the back of Rick Parfitt now in the battle for 5th. Lee Mull would like to have a lap. He may would have got a top 5 finish then. And David Barker's got himself ahead of Graham Johnson. Now Ben Cotter Julius still sideways in 9th. Brad Bailey and Diogo Guerreri behind them. Let's have a look at those results. And Mike Robinson went by 7.5 seconds to Sean Heighton, who held on to Gary Sims. Ryan Radcliffe at 4th, Rick Parfitt 5th, Lee Mull, and Graham Johnson got back ahead of David Barker in the battle for 7th.